What it feels like to be a Star Wars fan in the current times. What's this?
I think it's worse than the sum of its parts, because I was kind of generous with
What
some
was
of
this?
the episodes where, like, when you're watching the individual episode, there's something like a fight
Yeah.
scene that will kind of prop it
Yes,
up.
exactly.
So watching this episode's fight scene, you're like, oh, cool, I actually kind of like the Soul Come Here fight. 3 weeks, I'm not going to remember any individual part of it. And so that's when I think about these series on the whole,
Yes.
looking back on it for over long periods of time, that loses its luster. And I start to think about what actually happened in the series. And if we start thinking about what happened in the series...
No, don't think about it!
And so, like, that's the problem that you have, right, is we were
I
set up...
really like, dude, this guy, I've seen him in a couple of other Angry Joe videos. I've never heard this guy say something I disagreed with. I love this guy. I totally fucking agree with this too, by the way. And like, I've always said that like a good stream, the way that I categorize a good stream is if I think about it after the stream, or I'm thinking about the stream outside of the stream. Or in like, for example, Elden Ring or a good video game. A good video game, I'm thinking about the video game when I'm in a drive-through for getting like Taco Bell or something like that, right? That's my opinion, because like what he's talking about is kind of like that McDonald's content where it's just like, this is entertaining, vapid spectacle that it's on for a half hour and then it's over and you never even think about it again. You know, Cyberpunk. Yeah, I think Cyberpunk. Like, I think about Cyberpunk pretty regularly, right? I never think about Starfield.
Up with the potential of maybe having a show that's Sith focused on an acolyte and all these cool things. In my opinion, it didn't live up to the potential, but that doesn't mean it has to
And
be
I
terrible.
think also another big reason why that happens is because the modern shows don't have any sort of core, like they don't have any sort of like resounding morality inside of them. So, for example, if you look at Lord of the Rings, one of the reasons why Lord of the Rings is timeless is because it has a resounding moral truth that is known to almost all men, right? And men, I mean men and women, right? And I think that the more a show becomes contemporary or a product of its time, the more that its value is more, it's transient, right? It comes and goes. Nobody thinks about it anymore after that. And it's soft and weak now, exactly. And the reason why is because the shows now have messages that are so contemporary, they are disconnected from the core human condition and the core human experience. And like if you compare something like, for example, The Acolyte and the messaging that they have with that show, or like, you know, The Witcher show, or a lot of other ones like this, and you compare that with something like Lord of the Rings, you compare that with like, I would say, like, some people have said the Witcher books. I haven't really read them, so I can't really be sure about that. You compare it with Dune, right? Like, Dune is on another level. Let me think of Fight Club. Fight Club is on another level. Berserk is on another level. Frieren is like, I actually thought that I was becoming a TikTok kid because I was so bored of anime that I would be watching an episode and I would be looking at my phone at the same time. And I was thinking to myself, is there something wrong with me? But then I realized, no, I watched Frieren. I started watching and I wanted to finish it, right? Because I'll usually take big, long breaks between series just because that's what I do, and then I'll come back and finish them later. And I watched Frieren, and in the entire episode, I never even thought about my phone. And in 10 years, people will look back on that show and they will like that show. And I think the problem is that there's a lot of other shows and a lot of other content that has this very contemporary, surface level messaging that holds no inner truth. It holds no core moral value. It's just McDonald's content. That's it. Fast food.
But then we chose these two characters that I don't like, I don't relate to, I don't think that they fit in the Star Wars universe. They change, I mean, depending on what direction the wind blows. We've talked over and over how they just...
I don't mean to pause again, I apologize, but like, if you look at the original Star Wars trilogy, it is the core battle between good and evil. And in the end, good wins out. Heroism, valor, tenacity, and honor win out. And that's the end of the movie. That's what happens. There's no subversion of expectations. Like, yeah, Darth Vader's actually his dad, but like, that plays into the story and it makes sense, right? And that's why, like, there's like I don't even know like how to explain it, but like, there's a soul and a spirit to that contemporary shows like this don't have.
Decide to do one thing and then the other, and it doesn't make any sense. I think that this is a horribly shot and edited TV series.
Yeah, go back and watch Gladiator. Go back and watch Lawrence of Arabia. Go back and watch Ben-Hur. It's a totally different experience than movies nowadays. Totally
I think this is the time where I want to kind of punish him
Conan the
for it.
Barbarian, the first
Nothing
one.
about watching this week after week felt good.
Yeah.
The show would be like, something would be happening, and goes, cut to credit. And it's like, wait a minute, we didn't do anything in this episode. Well, like
it was, I checked the time, 4 hours and 42 minutes.
Yeah. And so
That's
it's
a
like,
long time.
I don't think it was edited together very well. It felt like they were trying to do 2 movies or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think that
It's a movie.
I don't think the flow of this TV series was done well. And I think that also hurts the dialogue, and it also hurts the character motivation because they cut it together weird. So when I look back on the series over a long period of time, I'm going to think of it like I do some of the worst ones where it's like, yeah, there were some cool fights, but those things are less and less important to me over long periods of time because I think about this.
Well, like, yeah, of course, right? Because, like, you'll remember some of the really cool sequences. Like, there's a lot of movies and, like, games where the game or the movie was kind of bad, but they had 1 or 2 really fucking insane fight sequences or, like, battles. And a lot of people look at the prequels like that. A lot of people didn't really like how the prequels, how the story was, right? They didn't like the prequels. But imagine, like, the build-up. Because you got to remember, like, I was there, okay? 3,000 years ago. And the build-up where we knew, guaranteed, Anakin would have to go against Obi-Wan Kenobi. And these guys were, like, the best of the best. And it was as good as everybody could have thought it could be. And you know what else? Even more than that was Yoda. Yoda was like this like legendary lightsaber warrior, the Grand Master, and like nobody had seen Yoda fight until the second movie. And it was fucking amazing. It was so badass. But yeah, some of the other story parts didn't really make sense. Yeah, they were kind of stupid. But damn, those lightsaber fights were fucking amazing.
In like the full tapestry of Star Wars, and this is the stain on the tapestry,
It's the
right?
stain.
It's like it doesn't feel good.
It's about to stain more if they do that Yoda thing.
Exactly, and so it's like we've talked about this a little bit. We've talked about it a lot offline. Is I start looking at all of the Star Wars media, and there's things that I love, and I still love, and nothing Disney can fuck that up. But then I look at there's this much of it, and if I only like this much of it, I'm just going to stop being excited about the new things because if the majority of the new content is something that's either not for me or something that I don't like, then it's like, well, then I don't think I'm a modern Star Wars fan. And this just reiterates that. This is proof to me that they are not making Star Wars for people like me. They want you to be fucking brain dead. They want you clapping at commercials when the guy in the Allstate commercial is really fucking fun.
I only halfway agree with this. I think he's right, but I think the reason why he's right is much deeper. I think they're not making Star Wars movies for him and these guys and for me because they can't. It's not because they don't want to, it's because they can't. For advertisers, yeah, no, they're just not able to do it.
Funny, right? He does all those things with Patrick Mahomes.
You shut your mouth about Jake.
Yeah, Jake from State Farm. It's super fucking great. If you clap at commercials, you fucking love the Acolyte.
Just remake John Wick in Star Wars universe.
Shows
yeah,
where
that'd be
you
good.
have to turn your brain off. I am tired of these things because this is a $180 million production.
Wow.
You could have given your wife less fucking money because she didn't. She deserves.
She probably made more than the choreography team.
Yeah. So she deserves less money.
One of the actors in this show is the wife of somebody who runs the show.
Could have given it to other people. You could have asked Dave Filoni to help you with some of this shit because I'm positive you would have explained it to that man and he would have had to take his stupid fucking cowboy hat off. Just be like, ugh, what the fuck are you talking about?
He gets final say.
If that is the case, then
I don't know how much.
Yeah.
I have even less faith in Filoni and the stuff that he has going forward. If he himself as the mega fixer, because that's his whole thing.
Maybe it was Jon Favreau that was more responsible for the good stuff.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but like this series is is so bad, and the dialogue and the story and everything that happened over long periods of time, I'm not excited about anything that this links to.
Yeah.
In fact, it opens up.
I think that the problem is that this show feels like it's people and writers that wanted to tell their story rather than a Star Wars story, and they just wanted to use the Star Wars universe as a vehicle to tell their story.
Fears. Like,
Yes.
every time I see Disney reaching into a cookie jar that I don't think that they've got access to, it's like, no,
fan
you fucking
fiction,
leave
yeah.
Plagueis alone. You no talent ass clown.
Yes,
you
that's
don't
exactly.
deserve to touch
Don't
Plagueis.
do it.
Fuck off. Wait till someone else who has a brain, a fully functioning brain that appreciates the lore, that can do those things.
Yeah.
And so as much as I gave some of these episodes maybe a 3, sometimes maybe a 4, I think overall this is worse than a bad television series. I don't think it's
Didn't
a 3.
they tease Plagueis in like the Acolyte? I'm pretty sure they did.
actually think that this series is a 2.
Yeah, that's what I
think
thought.
that all of the things together. You
Darth
look
Plagueis, by the way, is the he was the Sith Lord that trained Palpatine.
at how it was made, how the characters went, where it fits in the universe, and I think that this is worse than bad. This is something that actively damages the tapestry of Star Wars.
It does.
It absolutely does. Yeah, and I think what happens is that after it comes out and they've kind of broken down that goodwill, then afterwards people don't take it seriously anymore, and the entire series is damaged collectively. Overall, an evil Sith, which is dope as fuck. Yeah, exactly, right? They never heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Yeah, clearly not, right? And I'm a writer for a certain company to do Star Wars. They want their audience to better fit their best marketing bracket for products advertising in their theme parks, which is to say children, tweens, and teens. Well, I don't really see, I don't think that making a show like this really, for teen boys, The Acolyte, I'm just not really seeing that be a, you know what teen boys want to watch? They want to watch John Wick. I guarantee you, they're going to want to watch John Wick or some, fucking badass movie with a guy shooting people and killing people. What are you talking about? They're not going to want to watch, a bunch of, girls sitting around, talking about their feelings and about how, Sith aren't really bad guys. No, what the fuck? Yeah, it's not even a question. So, it's so, yeah, watching Dragon Ball Z, yeah, it's you can't take this type of content and make it appeal to, a certain demographic, because different demographics of people like different things. Girls and guys are different, and they like different types of content. You can't make a show for everyone. And the closest thing that you can do to that is to make something like Lord of the Rings or the original Star Wars or Dune or something like that that is so virtuous and has such a timeless value to it that it has a fucking inner truth that people will always resonate with. That's the only thing that's going to happen to make it work. And I tell you one thing is that you think about the show, the series that I'm talking about. Think about how many books have been written, how many series have been made over the last 200 years, and how many of them really meet that mark. What are the odds that you're going to be the next one? Really fucking low. So yeah, but you need to think about the message. Yeah, but the message isn't going to go anywhere, right? It's people aren't going to hear it. They want to make something appeal to everyone. They should start making it good. Yeah, exactly. And they should start making sure that there needs to be more of a representation of ideals and the ideal person rather than Master Chief is a really good example of this. Master Chief is the perfect male role model for a lot of young guys. He's stoic, he's confident, he's strong, he's respectful, and he's competent. Goku, same thing, absolutely. That is what young guys and guys want to see. Absolutely. Yeah, he's over 6 feet. Yeah, he's 6'6" or something like that. Yeah, he's a big fucking dude. The Doom guy, exactly. Captain America, yes. This is what guys want to see. And you're not gonna convince guys that some other character that's weird and cringe and dumb, you're not gonna convince them that person is better than Master Chief. It's not gonna happen. Are people trying to put a message and show in movies? Well, it's about what the message is, really. Follow the hero archetype. Well, I think here's another good example, right? Is that, Game of Thrones, I think Game of Thrones is kind of in the middle, right? Where it's there are some really good things about Game of Thrones, but it doesn't have the same kind of type of timeless value that I think Dune or Lord of the Rings has. But I don't know about you guys, but my favorite character was Jaime Lannister. He was amazing, right? He was the best. And the reason why is because he started like an asshole. Nobody liked him, and he was a piece of shit. But at the same time, he was competent. He was respectful in some cases, right? In some cases. And he learned respect when he fucked up and he fucked around. And you see that happen. And at the end of the show, right? Whenever he's doing that siege and everything, this dude was on top of his game. He was, abso-fucking-lutely. And that's what people want to see. You're not going to get somebody to, like, resonate with somebody who's a loser, man. That's it. Like, you're not going to have that happen. There are these values that, like, 1,000 years ago, there were heroes like Master Chief. 3,000 years ago, there were heroes like Master Chief. This is going to be gone in 10 years. If that. Aragorn, yeah, look at Aragorn. Again, the same thing. And also, like, one of the most interesting things about this is that a lot of the extremely timeless male role models, right? So, like, here are 3 of them. Master Chief, right? This is a new one, obviously. Then you have Aragorn and Odysseus. Thor. Like, yeah. Goku, right? None of the people that are actually like these massive, like super big, like male role models, none of them are really toxic masculinity at all. It's all just bullshit. Yeah, it's all bullshit. None of them are like that. None of them abuse women. They don't do anything bad at all. Odysseus was the guy. Yes, exactly. Aragorn would never do that. It's disgusting. No one looks up to toxic men. Exactly. Like, yeah, it's all a it's like you're fighting against something that's not real. Everyone wants Tyrion, but nobody wants to be him. Yeah, for sure. Goku neglects his family. It's fine. I mean, I think that there's some things that are done for the show that make sense, right? You could say that with every character, but like, I think that whenever you're telling a story, you can't tell a holistic perspective of a person that doesn't make any mistakes, right? It's just impossible to do. But I think that for the state of the story, it makes sense. So yeah. And Neo in the Matrix? Yeah, Neo in the Matrix is another one. Yeah, completely good guy. Like, there's no toxic masculinity. Like, no, man. Like, any of those timeless characters like Luke Skywalker? Absolutely not. Yeah, this whole idea that people need to fight against this stereotype never existed. Even Conan the Barbarian. Like, the Barbarian, even him, zero toxic masculinity at all. Gandalf, yeah. It's not even a question. It's never been about that. Anyway, that's what I think. It ain't war crime if war crimes hasn't been invented yet. Should gamers be held accountable for in-game war crimes? You know what this tells me? The Guardian is running out of money. They're running out of money. And, from 2013, they're trying to squeeze every last bit they can get. You know?